because it's in dormant situation. You know, it's covered. So it could be awakened by chanting Hare Krishna, and that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to awaken these Krishna's Prema or the love for Krishna through this chanting of the holy names. That has been taught to us by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was Krishna himself, and he came into West Bengal 500 years ago. And he's the one who taught us this. And that's why our movement is called Sankirtana movement, because we collectively chant, to awaken the dormant love for Krishna consciousness, So that's what we do. So today, I would like to just discuss a little bit about why the good things, bad things happen to good people. Right? That's what we always wonder. Why me? I always go to temple. I always do all these things, and I do the best, and still bad thing happens to me. Right? So Krishna is in Bhagavad Gita. So there are a couple of slokas which we will read through, and Prabhupada explains, and that's what we say. As we all know that we all follow somebody, right? We all follow somebody. Like even those people who does not believe in God, they also follow some higher authority, or they believe into it. Right? When we go to work, we think that my boss is the one who is the highest guy on the corporate ladder, and I try to please him no matter what. Because I put my intelligence into this, then how I can please him, so that all the benefit comes to me, right? Is that what we do? Similarly, in the business, we do that. Similarly, in the friendship, we do that. Sometimes we find out one of our friends is a topmost guy, He knows everybody. He knows the politician, Then we say, okay, let me make a friendship with him. Let me put all my efforts into how I can please my friend so he can please me, right? Similarly, those people who believe in any demigods, they start putting their intelligence into demigods and say, let me please him, And then, in general, when we talk about that God, some people say God is like a light, some people say God is like this, and they start putting that's the authority, And then they start to surrender or do whatever to please, so that I get that achievement, what I want. Because ultimately we are looking for some incentive, right? So the incentives, what is the incentive, So here also we are looking into it. But then we look or go through all these things with what? What authority and who is saying the authority, right? So here in Krishna consciousness, in ISKCON movement, we believe Srimad Bhagavat Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are the highest authority, like they are the authority. They tell us, and we call it that we are seeing seeing the things through the scriptures, scriptural eyes, or Veda's eyes, we call it, or so that we can see things and we start believing that this is the right thing we are doing. So it is also been explained to us all the time that sadhu, guru, and Shastra, they are like the track of railway track, they go very parallel, whatever a spiritual master says, that's what the Shastra or the scripture says, and that's what the saintly person or the sadhu says, Sadhu, guru, and scriptures, they are like a track, and that's why we believe, either we believe our spiritual master, because he only speaks from this authority, from this. And when we, especially we talk about this on every Sunday for Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavad Gita is renounced, or it's been known, this is the only scriptures which is been known into the whole world. If you talk anybody, any library you go, this will be there, if you will look at it. Any person, you say, hey, you know Bhagavad Gita? Most of the time, the answer will be yes, they'll say, right? So I think that's why we believe that whatever is written here is the final authority. Krishna also says, I repeat a lot of the time, he says, Matta Partanam Nadyat Inchitasti Dhananjaya. Hey Dhananjaya, there is no authority above me. I am the highest. He says this in Bhagavad. In Bhagavad Gita, he also says that Sarvasya Prabhava, Mattaha Paradhamna, oh sorry, Maya Dhyakshana Prakriti Suyate Sacharaja. He says that this material nature is running by me, under my direction. Maya Dhyakshana means, it's running by me. Can you imagine, can anybody say that? That this material nature, I can tell you, that okay, the sun, you stop there. When Krishna told the sun to stop, it stopped. You know the incident? Mahabharata, right? The cloud came and stopped. Right? Similarly, you cannot say that. Right? So Krishna says here also in this book right here in 58. It's 1858. So let's read through that. So this is chapter 18 and verse number 58, right? So we'll read through that. And so 58 and 59 are very, very close to each other. So I thought, why not quickly discuss this and understand what Krishna wants to tell us, right? And this is exactly why the bad thing happens to good people, and we are not understanding why, and because although we do everything, but we always take away our buddhi, our mind. So you guys want to sing with me? Mat chitta sarva durgani mat prasadat darisyasi atha cheta vamahankara nasoshyati vinakshati mat chitta sarva durgani mat prasadat darisyasi atha chetva ahankara nasoshyasi vinakshati. We will also say 59, right? We go 59 at the same time. Yat ahankaram asritya nayoshya iti manisa mithyase vyavsayah te prakritasa tvam niyokshati. Yat ahankaram asritya nayoshyasi iti manyase methyase vyavasyaste prakruti swam niyokshati. So we'll do word by word on 58 and 59 again, okay? So mat means of me. Chittaha, being in consciousness. Sarva, all. Durgani, impediments. Mat prasada, by my mercy. Tarisyasi, you will overcome. Yatha, but, chet, if, from, you, ahankara, by false ego. Na sroshyati, do not hear. Vinakshasi, you will be lost. So on 59 it says, yet, if, ahankara, of false ego, asritaha, taking shelter, know your sin. I shall not fight. Iti. Thus, manyase. You think. Mithya isa. It is, that is all false. Vyavsaya. Determination. T. Your. Prakriti. Material nature. Tvam. You. Niyokshati. The language. So, we will read the translation by Srila Prabhupada, 58 verse. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If you, however, do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. And the translation of 59 says, if you do not act according to my direction and do not fight, then you will be falsely directed by your nature. You will have to be engaged in warfare. So we'll just read the purport in a second. So, Om Adhyanatimidandasya Gnananjana Saladhaya Chakshuranaranjena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupang Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Kamsadhivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Tapta Kanchan Gaurani Radhe Vrindavameshwari Vrishabhanu Sutede Pranamami Hari Pancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Yavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Premabhaya Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Gaur Vise Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasari Gaur Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Now we will come to first page, purport of it, and then we'll discuss. A person in full Krishna consciousness is not unduly anxious about executing the duties of the existence. The foolish cannot understand this great freedom from all anxiety. For one who acts in Krishna consciousness, Lord Krishna becomes the most intimate friend. He always looks after his friend's comfort and he gives himself to his friend, who is so devotedly engaged, working 24 hours a day to please the Lord. Therefore, no one should be carried away by the false ego of the bodily concept of life. One should not falsely think himself independent of the laws of material nature or free to act. He is already under the strict material laws. But as soon as he acts in Krishna consciousness, he is liberated, free from the material perplexity. One should note very carefully that one who is not active in Krishna consciousness is losing himself in the material world, in the ocean of birth and death. No conditioned soul actually knows what is to be done and what is not to be done. But a person who acts in Krishna consciousness is free to act because everything is prompted by Krishna from within and confirmed by the Spirit. spiritual master. So in the 59, Prabhupada explains, Arjun was military man and born of the nature of Kshatriya. Therefore, his natural duty was to fight. But due to the false ego, he was fearing that by killing his teacher, grandfather, and friends, he would incur sinful reactions. Actually, he was considering himself master of his actions, as if he were directing the good and the bad results of such work. He forgot that the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present there, instructing him to fight. That is the forgetfulness of the conditioned soul. The Supreme Personality gives direction as to what is good and what is bad, and one simply has to act in Krishna consciousness to attain the perfection of life. No one can ascertain his destiny as the Supreme Lord can. Therefore, the best course is to take a direction from the Supreme Lord in act. No one should neglect the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or the order of the spiritual master, who is the representative of God. One should act unhesitantly to execute the order of Supreme Personality of Godhead. That will keep one safe under force. So, in verse 58, Krishna says, Mat chitta sarva durgani. Mat prasada tarisyasi. So Krishna says that if you focus or if you keep your mind, that's what we call Krishna consciousness, right? Krishna consciousness of Krishna all the time. So we keep Mat chitta sarva durgani, Mat prasada tarisyasi. Atha chetva ahankara na sosyati vinashya. But with your false ego, you always think that I am the one who is doing everything, then you will fall down. That's the main thing. So here Krishna, Prabhupada explained in 58 that Krishna is our friend, you see. And if you have heard this sloka from Srimad Bhagavatam, that Srunvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Sravan Kirtanam. You know, we do know the I think it's the second line for that. But anyway, the meaning is that these whatever Krishna has says in this Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's own, own warning or speech or katha or verses. Krishna has spoken himself, right? So whoever can sing that, Srunvatam Swakatha, because Krishna spoke himself. Punya Shravankitam. It is very, very auspicious, And Vidunoti means is clean, in our heart, whatever is like all the dirty things, Abhadrani. Vidunoti, Abhadrani, Suhrut Satam. Suhrut means he is our friend. So Satam means the devotees. So for the devotees or who are Krishna conscious, who have put their intelligence into it, Krishna becomes their friend. And then he cleans up all that dirty thing. What is the dirty things? What is the dirty things? Yeah, we have ego in our heart. What else?
Greed.
Lust. What else?
Greed.
Anger. Right? Those are the dirty things. Being, angry, being lusty, we have this dirty inside. That's why we are not been able to see that Krishna is my friend. And that's why here in this sloka, it explained that Krishna is our friend. We should always think that way, always. And we should take the direction from him. Or either we take the direction from his representative, right? So God within and God without. There is the word here, right? God within means Krishna in our heart, Surut, our friend. He gives the direction to us. And then without is our representative, spiritual master. So the one who does not have, we take Srila Prabhupada as our spiritual master. He is our Siksha Guru. He gives us our instructions. because we read his books. We are inspired by his book, and say, okay, I want to be Krishna conscious. Prabhupada says that. So we are following him. So we have to take this direction from ourselves. So these two ways, Krishna. But due to this ego that I am doing everything, you see, you know. So this slok in Bhagavad Gita here, right? It says that Ahankar vimudatma karta hamiti prakrute kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasa. Prakriti kriyamanani. So all these activities are done by the material nature. By these three modes of material nature are acting on us, right? We repeatedly talk here that whenever you are in a mode of goodness, you try to come to temple. No matter where you are, you think about temple and you say, I must go there. I like it over there. That's the mood of goodness, right? During the mode of goodness, you think about piety, you think about charity, In the mode of goodness only, you think, that okay, let me give some donation. Doesn't matter. Let me help this fellow, in the mode of goodness, right? Those are the things we do, mode of goodness, right? When we are in the mode of, like when the material nature is acting on our head under the mode of passion, rajas, right? Then we are thinking, let me go make a lot of money, let me invest in the stock market, let me invest into the real estate, let me have it, and let me enjoy, because I am the one who is doing this, me, nobody else. So that comes on. Prakrute kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasa. So we are coming here to the temple, we are going to the work to make money, and we are going to the casino to gamble or drink into the bar in the mode of ignorance, in a in a in a tamagun, right? We are doing this because these are acting on us. Krishna says that. Prabhupada is not saying that. Bhagavad Gita and Krishna speaks. You know, right? So that's what we are doing. So prakritya kramanani gune karmani sarvasah ahankara vimudatma karta hamiti manyate. He thinks that I am the one who is doing it. But we are not doing it. Krishna says, Maya adhyakshana prakriti suyate sacharaja. Everything is running by me. I am the one who is instructing, this. You know. The sun and moon are coming and going because of me. He says that, in Bhagavad Gita, and also he says in Brahma Samhita. Lord Brahma says that all the sun, because of your fear, sun is coming out every day at the same time. Because of the fear, moon is coming out. Also, Krishna. He says that in Bhagavad Gita. Rama Visyachadukutani, Dharyami Hamojasa. He says that. So I'm entering into this. That's what he says. So under the spell of Maya, under the spell of this material nature, we are thinking that that is false ego. So what's the true ego? This is the false ego. That I am the creator and I'm the enjoyer and I'm this body. And this is me, But you take it. I'm the one who is doing it. So what is the true ego then? I am the servant of Krishna. That's the Chivera Swarupena Nityara Krishna Das. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. Chivera Swarupena Nityara Krishna Das. Das does not mean that somebody is taking a little bit of a whip and putting you and now you are a Das. No. By love you are Krishna. You are engaging in the service of Krishna. By love only. It says earlier, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains, that this loving service, this loving mentality of us, we have it in our heart. It's just that we are so much attached to these, materialistic things that it is covered, and we have not been able to come to Krishna's service. But originally, we have this. So we are trying to do this. So here it says that Matta Machitta sarva durgani, you know, mat prasadat tarisyasi. So he also says that with my mercy, you will be able to surmount this, you know. But if you don't listen to me, because a lot of the time he says, a lot of people tells us, right, that I listen to my consciousness and I make a decision. What my consciousness says. So what is that consciousness? Right? Here Krishna says, I am the consciousness. You know, Isvara Sarva Bhutana Riddhese Arjun Tishtati. I am the, and I am taking you everywhere. I am the one who is giving you this, you know. And here he says that if you don't put your intelligence into me, you know, then and if you listen to yourself, because sometimes we don't listen to Krishna, right? And although our inner consciousness is telling us, let's go to temple, and say, oh, you know, I go every Sunday. They don't know what do they have. They just, you know, do arti and sing, and then that food, you know, they eat and they go home. I have more. I can enjoy a little bit more over there in a party. You know, I have all my friends comes. It's very, very nice there. Very nice food, you know, and we all enjoy. We talk about Gramya Katha. That's what they call. वैरागी भाई ग्राम्य कथा ना सुनिले and Gramya Varta na kahibe abed milibe. If when you meet to somebody, you don't Vairagi Bhai, the one who has taken the vow to become Krishna conscious, they don't need to associate and talk about other stuff. Only Krishna Katha. That's why it says in Bengali, Vairagi Bhai, Gramya Katha na kahibe ya milibe. When you meet, don't do that. And Vairagi Bhai, Gramya Katha na sunibe prane. Don't hear the Gramya Katha. Right? There is no benefit, you know. And ultimately it will take you down the hill. You know? So I think that that's what it says. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also explained to Arjuna that urdhvam gachanti sattvasa, madhya tishtati rajasa, you know, adho gachanti. Krishna says in chapter 13, if you read it, you know. He said those who are in a mode of goodness, they lift themselves up higher planetary system, you know, upper 7 planetary system. You know, that's Swarga, Bhurbuha Swaha, you know, Tapas, Mahar, and Brahmalok. That's where they go. Madhya Tishtati Rajasa. This is Madhya, where this material world right here in the Prithvi, we call it, right? That's where it's a middle planetary system. And those who are in a mode of passion, they stay here. They come back here, you know. They work very hard again, you know, as Prabhupada explained, just like that ash, you know, working for a little more self. He thinks that this green grass, if I can walk a little bit or work a little bit, then I'm going to get it, right? That's what he's saying. Think. But Prabhupada explained that ash doesn't know that green grass is available everywhere free, but he works so hard for it, you know. That's what the whole thing is. So that's what we have to understand this part of it. You know, we have to understand. And here in the second stroke also, Prabhupada explained that Arjun, you know, his duty was to fight, right? So we all have this, you know, this characteristic, right? We are born with this quality, you know. It tells in Arjun too that we born with this quality, you know. And then, you know, like Prabhupada explained that Kalo Sudra Sambhava. So we all are born from there. We are all in a lower category, you know, and Sanskaram Bhavat Brahmin. So we from there we progress a little bit, and then you become Brahmin. You see, because Brahmin, then come Vaishya, right? Kshatriya, and then Vaishya, and then Sudra, those categories. So we are all, you know, when you're born in Kali, in this Iron Age, we are all in a category of Sudra. Because as soon as you born, they say go to work, right? Those people who work for others are Sudra, nothing else, right? So there are only very few of them who start their own business. Most of them we are looking to work. Hey, if you have a job, let me know. Sir, you have an opening. Can you hire me? That's the mentality we have. So from there, you have to go to the intelligent. Brahmin is an intelligent class of people. But we have been told the doctors are the intelligent. So I say, I'm going to be a doctor. Right? But the Brahmin is the head of our body. You see? So our body is divided, right? The top part is this. And the belly is what? Worship. Right? And the legs and the hands are that way it's all divided. So we have to be top class, Brahmin class. They are the most intelligent people. You know, that's why previously the kings were appoint the Brahmins for the advisors. You know, right? That's what it was happening. But now gradually everything deteriorated in Kali Yuga. You know, Mandascha Manda Bhagya Manda Mate. It says. So Arjun was a Kshatriya, means he is a fighter. He's supposed to fight, right? But when he looked at his own kinsman, his own relative, he is just struggles. You know, he started crying. He said, Krishna, I cannot fight. You know, at that point, Krishna says that, hey, I am under my direction, you're supposed to fight. That's what my advice to you. Why? Because your quality is Kshatriya. You are supposed to fight, so you should be fine. But ahankara, but you think that you are the one who is doing this thing, everything, then you are not going to fight because you said, this is my relative Krishna, I don't care what you say. Then you're going to fall down. This is exactly what it says, right? Prabhupada explained that. Oh, and here is the beauty of it, that because our quality is Kshatriya, because his quality is a warrior, he is going to automatically fight because this material nature is going to tell that you fight, right? So now, after it comes in the second chapter also, Prabhupada explains that first you are telling Krishna, I'm not going to fight because, you know, I'm very compassionate. What happened this, he gives so many arguments, right, in the first chapter. He don't want to fight. So then, and then the Prabhupada says that, okay, you don't, the Krishna said, okay, you don't fight. But what will happen? Because your nature is to fight, so you run away and you start going, and those people, you know, the Kaurav party, they are going to tell you, hey, you are a coward, you want to do this, how can you not fight? You are afraid of us. All these things he are going to tell you. As soon as he tell you, because you are Kshatriya, you're going to fight. Right? So what's the difference? Krishna says you fight, and he said, I'm not going to fight. Right? Now they are saying that you are a coward. Now you said, okay, I'm going to fight now. So earlier, when Krishna was directing you, then you said no, right? And then now you're going to kill them all anyway, right? So the difference is that under the direction of Krishna, you're going to be liberated, right? You are not going to have any of these karmic activities which is going to bind you, right? You will be liberated, you will be free, and there is no offenses. You know, Krishna says, okay, Krishna explained to me that if you fight, you know, under my direction, hey, what will happen? You go to Swarga, you know, and if you die while fighting, you will be able to rule this kingdom. You have all these things in your hand. And if you don't fight, and if you get killed on them, you still have a benefit because you'll go to this world. But because you fight under my direction, you see, you would have no consequences. You would have no karmic activity, bondage. Because of the bondage, we are here. Because of the bondage, we are here. We are here in this material world, suffering, you know, because of the bondage. Because of this bondage, we are not listening to Krishna, right? Keep on going to casino, we keep on going to the bar, we keep on going to work very hard and trying to get money and stuff. We are staying in the mode of ignorance and passion all this time without listening to Krishna. Krishna says, go to the temple, you know, and do all this and do the pious activities. He says that, right? And offer it to me, you know, he says that. Yajnasat karmanonyatra loko ayam karma. Until unless you offer all your activities to me, you will be bound. And if you will be bound, you have to come back here to Kala Masasvata, Krishna certified. You have to take another path. There is no choice for you, you know. So the point I was making earlier, that why the bad thing happened to the good people is that because we are not working direct into the under the direction of Krishna. That's why we are feeling that why this thing happened to me. Why? You know, that because I'm most of the time I'm thinking that let me figure it out. You know, how the burglar cannot come in my house. Let me put the alarm. Let me put the camera. Let me put the bar. You know, so many things I try myself. You see, and then what happens? He still comes, right? And then something happens. I think, hey, you know, I was just in doing this. I have done all these things. And why this? Because I'm not listening to Krishna. I'm not working under his direction. I'm working on my own direction. You know? That's what he says. Machchitta sarva durgani mad prasadam tarishyasi. If you come under my shelter, you know, sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam praja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshisyami. Krishna says. You come under my shelter. Try to do it. You know, try to do it. So that's what we are lacking. You know, and he says, "Ye yatha mam prapadyante stam tateva bhajami." As much as you come to me, I'll come to you. You come one step, I'll come. Ye yatha mam prapadyanti stam tateva bhajami. So I think that we have to look into this. We have to put our, you know, intelligence into it. You know. And we have to quit this ahankar, you know, false ego, you know, and then we have to see how we can have a true ego, you know, what shall I do, you know, and that's what the Krishna consciousness is. Machchitta means you are putting your mind into Krishna, right? Krishna consciousness. We are becoming Krishna consciousness, you know. So it says that as long as we are under Krishna's direction, you know, we will be liberated. We have no issue. You know, we won't think why the bad thing happened to good people. We wouldn't be thinking that. You know, I also think sometimes why this happens to me. You know, I try to, you know, say why this happens to me. You know, what maybe, what did I, where did I go wrong? We can say, where did I go wrong? You know, like we do in the mathematics paper, we write everything, and then the answer doesn't come. So where did I go wrong? Right? We try to look for it. But here, as long as you are under the direction of Krishna, Krishna Surya Sama, Maya Adhikar. Jaha Krishna Taha, Maya Na Adhikar. It says, you know, and there is not a Prabhupada always say this, that not a leaf of blade can move without Krishna's mercy or Krishna's desire. Krishna's desire. We are not being able to understand, right? Because we are not in this platform, you see. But these are very simple things, you know. We chant Hare Krishna, we dance for Krishna, we come to the temple every Saturday and Sunday, you know. And we take the shelter of Srila Prabhupada, who is Krishna's devotee, Krishna's direct messenger, you know, all the way from that world he has come to give this, you know, to us. And that's how we do it. So we should be engaged into Krishna's service, you know, all the time. That is the only way we can surmount these miseries, surmount these uh, material calamities. You know, that's the only way to do it. Hey, Krishna also says that, right? Devi esa gunamayi mama maya duratya mame vayakapati de maya. You know, that it is so hard to, you know, go over this material nature which is acting on us and which is making us do everything, you know. So some people even say, hey Krishna, you make me do that, you know, I'm doing it under your direction, that's why you make me do that, you know. But that is not correct. You know, we blame others for our own, you know, because we have been given a little freedom, right? We think if we don't have a freedom, then we would not be able to do all this. We would not be able to come to temple and have this exchange of love with Krishna. if we don't know freedom, right? So we are continuously given this little freedom, and we are, because of the misuse of the freedom, we are here in this material world. Misuse of the freedom, you see. So, but Srila Prabhupada explained that we have to use this our birth, which is called a bad bargain, you know, So we have to use the good things for bad bargain. Although we made a bad bargain with Krishna, right? He said, hey, after I go to material world, you watch. I'm going to remember you. I'll do everything you say. I'll do it, right? As soon as you come in this material, everything is forgotten, right? And then we are into our own thing. Krishna does his thing. We do our thing here, and we start again. Same time, we keep on doing that. So Prabhupada explained that we have made a bad bargain with the Krishna, but let's use it the best way. Now we have, therefore, now I have realized, that I have made a bad deal. So why not I try to get it fixed and start my life again into Krishna consciousness? So very important that we do, we use our most of our time in Krishna consciousness, And then Prahlad Maharaj says that there are a lot of youngsters here that we should be trying this when we are little, not that my age, which is called like Gujarati Mantar very, very old, cannot do anything. I was learning last to last weekend, that last 20 years of our life, we cannot do anything. I try to remember shloka and I forget all the time. When I was very sharp, when I was young, right? 1 or 2 times you memorize and, Kakka Bharati, right? We remember everything. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, right? We remember very sharp. We give the, teacher asks something and before he asks, he says, I have it, sir. But now I can't remember, So last 20 years are gone. There are a lot of things happening. I called one of the guys. I said, "Can you draw the plans for my house?" He said, "I'm too old." No, you're asking me, So we already tell ourselves that I'm too old. I can't do it anymore. Last 20 years of our life, First 20 years, we don't even want to go to the temple, right? We just say, "Hey, I'll go pray." Here I have a boyfriend, girlfriend. I have a meeting with them. But who to the temple? What is this nonsense? So that's what we do, sporting most of the time, right? Our parents also say, hey, learn swimming, learn this thing, learn that thing, singing, playing instruments, that's what we do, right? Extracurricular activity. That's what we do. That's first 20 years. So 20 and 2040 is gone. How many left out of 100? If you live 100, most of the people only live 80, 85 nowadays, right? Right? So there are, how many left? 60. Out of 60, some people sleep 12 hours. Is that correct? Right? So 50% of your life is gone again. So 30 left, right? And those who only sleep 8 hours, probably 40 years left. So you only have 40 years left. A person like me has nothing left. Zero balance. So we need to think about it. And all these youngsters who come here, they should need to think about it. Because if you don't think, you'll be like me, not learn much at the end. And you will remember whatever the activities you are involved in initially or in the beginning, that will remember at the end. I was just preaching to somebody yesterday. I said, we have been taught that, like there is an example given that in India, there is a horse who goes into the circus round, round, round. Every time there is a big, what do you call, bugle, right? They blow the bugle and the horse go because he knows perfectly that every time, as soon as the bugle blows, he got to go around, right? Round, 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 and he goes. Then after he gets old, then he's been brought back into the, like a marriage carriage to carry the Varaj, the guy who's getting married, in the carriage. He's one of the horse, right? So as soon as this, in India, we have we hire the band, when we take the procession of the guy who's married. And at that time, what happens? That the band plays the band, and they also have a bugle. So they play, right? And what happens? The guy doesn't go far the straight. He goes round, round, round. Because that's what he learned. And as soon as you play the bugle, you go round, round, round. It's very difficult to change, right? Because the guy has done that for last 40, 50 years. How is it good? And that's my situation. Very hard, to do this. That is the reason when you are young age, Prahlad Maharaj says this. He says, he says that, I forgot this book, but he says that when you are young age, very tender age, young age, at that age, you should learn about Krishna. You should learn what's going on. You should learn what is good for me. Is this materialistic knowledge is good for me, or is this spiritual knowledge is good for me? That's what we should learn. At the tender age of 5. And today I also think of somebody would have taught me Bhagavad Gita when I was 5 years old. Maybe I would have been much more, learning and thinking about it. And I could have, because Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, you have to remember me 24 hours a day. So it's very hard now, right, to remember him 24 hours a day. If I would have learned this or practiced from that age, probably there are some chances to do that. So anyway, we need to just focus ourselves on Krishna consciousness, right? Come to the temple every Saturday or Sunday and hear this Krishna Swakatha, what Krishna spoke. That's what. Why? It's because it's very, very auspicious to hear this Krishna Katha. And it cleans the, all this dirt in our heart, lust and anger. It comes, it puts us on a platform of, I am not a master, I am not master, but I am a servant of Krishna. I am a servant of a servant of a servant of a servant of a Krishna. Aham Dasos. A lot of the time, the devotee says, Aham Dasos. I'm a servant of Krishna. So that's what we have to learn. And to learn, after we learn, we practice. And after we practice, we keep on repeating it, And so when we go back to Godhead, when we go back to Krishna Lord, we do the same thing. That time, we cannot say, I cannot chant. I know how to chant. So thank you very much, everyone. If anybody has any question or comment, I can take it. Any question or a comment? No? Then